The world wants to change you. And today I want to urge you to not let it. It's a small compromise after a small compromise that seems to one day end up in us being a completely different person than who we were striving to be, than who we wanted to be, than who we knew we could be. And it's with these small compromises that the world, society, civilization makes us or seems to make us make. But in reality, we don't have to give in to these things. We don't have to compromise. We just need to be our true selves and have faith that that's enough. That's all we should do, and that's all we need to do. It's, in this day and age to, I don't really use social media. I have this YouTube where I post videos, and I have my Instagram and accounts, but I don't keep them downloaded on my phone, and I don't ever scroll on them. Never. It's only ever to maybe re-download occasionally and to see if someone's texted me or something of that nature, to let them know to essentially text me. But this world, as me being I haven't used these platforms much since I've turned 20, and I'm now 23, and it's been amazing. The amount of growth, contemplation, internal work I've been allowed to do is beautiful. But when you step away from these platforms in this day and age, you almost feel ostracized. I don't really talk to anybody. I don't have, no one ever really texts me because they don't care. But and that's okay. But it's easy for me to be like, to get lonely and to say, I don't want this anymore. And then engage in that world again. Start texting people just to text them, to have pointless conversations. Start posting on social media again so I'm in people's head and they start texting me, you know, and it's horrible. Now, but that's what the world, it's one compromise at a time. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do this one thing on this platform. And then it's, oh, well, maybe I'll just do this. And then you snowball into doing something you said you would never do. And I'm just using the example of social media because that's the first thing that came to my head, but it's in so many facets. Even with my YouTube, I enjoy just long form content and digging deep into a topic that I feel is worth digging deep into. But at times it's like, if I wanted to truly grow my channel, this isn't really the best way to do it. I posted shorts for a while, and I never liked it because I don't like the idea of short form content. But I got way more views. My subscribers went up. Like, the month that I posted shorts was for, growth, was my best month ever for this channel. But that's not me. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to put into this world. So I refuse to do that. I refuse to do it. And everyone will tell you that you can't, like, you can't make it that way. You can't do it that way. But there's people who do. There's people who stay true to themselves, and those are the best ones. The people who post on YouTube and they don't have ads. They don't they don't have sponsors. They're just straight knowledge, straight wisdom, straight, here you go for free because you deserve it. And to me, that's what it's all about. That's beautiful. And it's long form content. It's not rot your brain, destroy your focus and attention span, make your dopamine go all over the place so you're depressed every 5 minutes. It's not what it is. It's not how it is. And I meet so many people who think that they have to be in this world, but you don't. You don't. And it's if you make if you make a small compromise, it's just small compromise after small compromise after small compromise until it's one huge compromise and you're no longer living the life you wanted to live. You just settle. I'm so sick and tired of seeing everybody settle. It's it's sad. We have one life on this earth and everyone is settling. Everyone is doing what they're supposed to do. Everybody's walking this path that they're supposed to walk. It's sickening. And they all do it while saying they're happy. And I know what it's like to do that. I know what it's like to lie to yourself. And it hurts me to see it, but it's all I see. Everybody settling, nobody being true to themselves, numbing themselves. And that's the worst too. So many people just numb themselves because they can't deal with, and I don't blame them, but they can't deal, I do, but they can't deal with the fact that they're not living a life true to themselves. What else do you think is going to feel necessary if you know you're not living a life true to yourself? Numb yourself. That's all you're going to be able to do. This is all you're going to be able to do to keep going. Or you're just going to be in this huge depression knowing what you have to do and not doing it. Knowing all that you could be, how far away you are from that, and deep down knowing you're going to take no steps to change. That's why so many people numb themselves. So many people do drugs. So many people drink alcohol. I strive to do neither because I don't want to numb myself. I've talked about before also the idea of feeling life. And when you numb yourself, you don't feel life. Sure, times may be hard. But that's part of life. And there's something beautiful about feeling pain. When you really think about it, when in the moment, obviously it sucks, but when you look back, there's something beautiful about it. You feel alive. You feel like you're doing something, like things are happening. You're really living. And so many people, are living these lives of quiet desperation. And it's so sad. It's so sad, where we're all ships and we live in a harbor. We're in harbor, but ships aren't meant to be in harbor. You're safe in the harbor, but you're meant to be in the sea. You were built to be in the sea. Sure, you got to go back to the harbor every once in a while. You got maintenance, you got all these things, but you're meant to be in the sea. You're meant to be living, experiencing, growing, hardships, adventure. I just don't understand. I don't understand how people can do it. And it all starts from society slowly and slowly changing us. Today I was driving by like a local school near my house, and it's like kindergarten through like third grade. And the two things that they were, I guess, like the theme of the month, they had it on their like screen outside, was courage and creativity. And I thought, I bet what those teachers are saying are so wise. I bet what those teachers are saying are, follow your dreams. Don't let people say you can't do it. Be creative, let express what's seeking expression in you. Just do it. Go for it. You can do it. I believe in you. And for some reason, like society just thinks that's something we need to tell kids. But once we get older, it's foolish. But in reality, those lessons are probably even more valuable to adults, because adults have given up on courage and creativity. But where kids already kind of innately have it. They're already kind of just creating because it feels right. And they're already kind of courageous because they don't think so much about the potential consequences. But we will shove. It was just, I don't know, it was interesting to me because I thought, everyone, so many people are foolish, and like teachers included, but I guarantee those teachers are like speaking so much wisdom to these kids because they're talking to kids. But they don't understand that's how we all need to think. They don't understand how people think. Yeah, I don't understand how people think. I mean, I don't know, it's really disheartening to me, honestly. And I guess I'm kind of just riffing in this video, but I guess it's also a calling to you to just please don't compromise. Don't let society slowly change you one compromise at a time. And follow your dreams, trust your intuition, listen to your heart, be courageous, be creative. It's not, we're gonna die. You're gonna die. No one's gonna remember your name. And then the whole earth is gonna blow up. And then if we somehow go to another planet, that planet is gonna blow up. We somehow go to another solar system, that solar system is gonna blow up. Humanity is gonna be done one day. And we're all sitting around here living these trivial existences, doing what we're supposed to do, thinking that thinking that we're somehow playing it safe when we're gonna die, when no one's gonna remember our name. Like, what's so safe about this? I mean, it's like built into life to just go for it, to just do it, to just live, to just not care what other people think, because soon no one's gonna think about you. Such a small fraction of time, not even a drop in the ocean of time, is going to have you embodied in it. And even less of that time is going to be people spending thinking about you, caring about you. All you have is you. I wish, I hope one day I have someone who pushes me like I try to push myself, but I don't have anybody. If I'm not the person, all that's around me is typically ever comfort. It's never, you could have done more today. It's never, you could have woke up earlier. You could have trained harder. You could have done this. You could have done that. It's like everyone is awed and amazed at how early I wake up, how hard I train. And I'm just like, I don't want that. I don't want to be told I should sleep in. I don't want to be told I should take a rest day. I want to be told I'm not working hard enough. I want to be told I could be better because it's true. But there's just nobody striving for these things. And like I said, I don't blame society. I push myself hard enough as it is, so it's okay. But I hope one day I just have somebody who actually pushes me. And that's why I'm here pushing you. Please live a life true to yourself. Please don't compromise. Please. You're gonna die. Please understand that sooner than later. I think, there's so much there's so much wisdom in that saying where we all live two lives and the second life starts when we realize we only have one. And it's like, yeah. And you talk to these people and you're like, do you know you're gonna die? And they're like, oh yeah, yeah. You're like, no, do you know you're gonna die? Nobody knows. Maybe they know, but they don't understand. And as I've said, there's a difference between knowing and understanding. Knowing is trivial. ChatGPT knows everything. Understanding is divine. It's wisdom. It's change. It's action. Knowledge is it's essential. It's essential to do the work, but it's not enough. You need the understanding of that knowledge. I've really lost hope in humanity as of late. And I'm trying not to, but it's hard when you look around at everything that's going on. And not even that, but just, it wasn't even, because, the war and everything was going on when I was traveling the world, when I was in Asia and Southeast Asia. And, I kind of lost hope, but it's not even because of that, though. It's not even because of these wars and all this. It's not because of that. It's because of the people I meet. Everyone's dead. It was better when I was traveling, because there was, every once in a while, you'd meet someone really, really living. A lot of times you just meet. That was another thing that kind of like ruined me, like traveling and everyone there to just party and drink and get messed up. And I was just like, wherever I go, this is like my age group. This is all we do, and I don't partake, so I'm the weird antisocial guy, and I'm okay with that. I mean, it's completely fine with me, but it's depressing. It's sad. It makes you lose hope, makes you lose faith. I mean, I'm out here striving for things few have ever strived for, walking a path few have ever walked, and all I see is the walking dead, people settling, either saying they're unhappy and doing nothing to change it, or lying to themselves saying that they are happy when they know they're settling. And I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard. Because I know everyone can do more. I know I was never the smartest. I was never I was never anything. I'm nothing. And I became everything. And I look around and I see people who were ahead of me, who are now like I can't even see they're so far behind. And I'm just like, what happened, man? If I can do it, you can do it. And I think that's a big reason why I'm so, I don't know, have no hope. And that's a big reason why I have to make this video in Rift. I might not even post it because this is a big rift, but I'll probably post it. But it's like I have nobody to talk to. I have nobody to talk to. And I'm not saying I'm like, I'm gonna like kill myself and I'm depressed and I need someone to talk to. I'm saying like no one can comprehend what I'm saying right now. Like imagine trying to say this to like 99% of the population. They'd like they'd just be like in defense mode. No, I'm happy. No, I'm this. No, I'm that. Just that the other. I know I'm gonna die. It's just like, man, you can't talk to anyone. You can't talk to anyone who seems to have like a brain cell these days. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm really at a loss for words these days because it feels like I can't talk to anybody. I mean, it's felt like that for a long time, but no, it gets old. It gets old only having like dead people to talk to and yourself. I mean, and I know I'm not. I know there's other people out there I can talk to, but I know I'm not the only one who understands these things. But man, sometimes it feels like it. Sometimes it feels like it. Just do me a favor. Just be true to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Contemplate death, and then contemplate it again, and then again, and then again. It took me like 2-3 years of contemplating death, like every day, walking through cemeteries, to really understand that I'm going to die. That's the other thing. People think that you can read something once and you know it, you understand it. You don't. You don't. You can read the same passage 1,000 times, and on that 1,001st time, you might actually understand what's being said. And then even then, you still are probably missing something, depending on how divine the passage is. There's books that are never read that you're always reading, like Dante's The Divine Comedy, the Bible, the philosophy. You never read philosophy. You're always reading philosophy. You've never really understood what every philosopher is trying to say. So, and then once you realize you're going to die, once you trust your intuition and really realize you're going to die, life just falls into place. What else are you going to do but be all that you could be, to be divine, to become who you are? You have nothing to lose because you're already going to die. And you understand that your intuition wants the best for you. And it's smarter than you are. It somehow is outside of space and time and has greater foresight than you. It has better perspective than you. So you're trusting your intuition while understanding you're going to die. It's the two greatest things I could recommend to you. But I don't know. They say ignorance is bliss. And, sometimes I think I miss my ignorance. Maybe I was happier. Because a part of me, I think a part of every human being just wants to help humanity. And when you're ignorant and when you're naive, you really think humanity's got a chance. You really think humanity's going to change. You really think people are awesome. Then when you get to this certain point, you're just like, you're proved wrong time and time again. And it becomes harder and harder. And a part of you misses that ignorance. A part of you misses thinking it's enough just to give a smile and say a kind word. When it is enough, when those are important actions. But it's like when a drug addict says that they're going to quit, and you're really hopeful for them, but then but then it gets to a point in time when, say, this drug addict, your friend, whoever it may be, tells you for the 100th time, hey man, I'm quitting. And you kind of just have that cynical melancholy about it. You don't really believe it. You don't really think it's going to happen this time. And you're not a pessimist. You're not a pessimist for thinking that. You're not a cynic for seeing that no one ever changes. That these people never change. That they're stuck in their ways. And it's sad. It's above all else sad. It's above all else heartbreaking to see so few people attempting to live up to their potential. I see, it's like, in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, probably the greatest book ever written. Nietzsche says, he has the example of the tightrope walker, and how, he's walking the tightrope, and, the whole analogy is that the beast is behind him, and he's walking to become the overman, the Übermensch, God. And he's walking the tightrope, and then the herd comes behind him. And they're like, what are you doing? You can't be that. You're a failure. Who do you think you are to think that you can be that? this, that, and the other. And the Ubermensch falls. Or, no, he's not the Ubermensch because he didn't make it, but he's the tightrope walker, and he falls and he dies. But Zarathustra honors him. Zarathustra tries to give him a proper burial because he dared great things. He wasn't, he would rather die walking the tightrope. He'd rather risk falling than staying with his animalistic instinct, to staying with his beastly nature, to not striving to become God, the Ubermensch. And it's like Icarus. Icarus is the tightrope walker. Icarus dared to dream, dared to be true to himself, dared to fly to the heights, dared to figure out if he could become a god. And he fell. But better to live like Icarus than to not live at all. Than to live like you probably are. If you were diagnosed with cancer today, what would you do? I can damn well bet that it's not going to be what you did today. And why is that? Why is that? If I was diagnosed with cancer, my last year would look the same, more or less. I mean, obviously, there's more a little sense of urgency. And yeah, sure, I think everyone would be better in a way. But my life wouldn't look drastic. But I can almost assure you, your life it would take a 180. What are you doing? You already have a death sentence. You've already been sentenced to death. You've already been diagnosed with cancer. And it's even worse than the cancer that you just got diagnosed with. Because this cancer gives you a year. The cancer we get diagnosed with right when we're born gives us, 100. Yeah, but it also could kill us at any moment. At least the cancer that we get diagnosed, it says, yeah, you got a year before this takes you. But the other one is, next second. The next second isn't even guaranteed. We all are diagnosed with cancer. Do you not see that? Can you not understand that? Maybe I'm just lonely walking the path to the heights by myself, and I want other people to join. But I think it's more virtuous than that. I think it's more that I do all of this for humanity. I deep down inside, I may say I do it all for myself and for my intuition and my heart, and that's all that matters. But deep down inside, I want humanity to live. I want humanity to really experience heaven here and now, because I lived in hell for so long. I was happy for so long. And then I realized life. The blinders were taken from my eyes. I made it out of Plato's cave. And maybe I'm a fool for thinking that I can take a lot of people out of Plato's cave. When, no one's really been able to do it. But I'd be even more a fool not to try. And I think maybe that's why I'm so upset at what I see in this world today. Nobody's striving for greatness. Nobody's striving for the heights. Nobody living a life true to themselves. Of course, there's few. Of course, I know I'm not the only one. But I wish there were more. I wish there were more. And that doesn't mean you can't do all this while working a job, while whatever it may be. You just have to trust your heart. I worked a job I didn't like for 4 years. And sure, I wish I quit before, but I also I also needed that job for some of that time. I was a horrible person before that job. And then that job forced me to, confront. It was like the awakening. It was the moment when I was like, I have to change. I'm so grateful to that job. Even though it wasn't my path the rest of my life, even though I didn't truly enjoy it. It wasn't my passion. I'm still so grateful to it. And we're all at different parts in our life and we can all contribute in different ways. But we have to trust our heart. We have to become who we know we can become. And we have to do what that looks like. And sometimes that means working a job. And not everybody's different. Some people it's gonna be working a job their whole life. And I think some people will be happy with that. And other people couldn't even imagine it. Other people should never do it. But we're all different. We all have to figure out what that thing is for us. And we can't let society change us. One small compromise at a time. We can't allow it. We can't let it happen. Can't do it. We can't do it. So please, 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 become who you are. And just live a life true to yourself. It's not safe. It's not easy. It's not even fun sometimes. But there's so much meaning and so much purpose in it. Your why is so strong. The hows that would have toppled you in the past become these little speed bumps you barely even noticed because you have such immense purpose. Just become who you are. It's worth dying for. Understand that. It's worth it's worth dying for. It's worth being homeless. It's worth losing everything because you have nothing. You're going to leave this world with what you came in with. Zero. It's already all on the table. You know how this story ends. Why not at least write a good story? You can't change the ending, but you can change the climax. You can change. You can become who you are. You don't have to do these things. It's not easy, but it's the only thing worth doing.